Hey, welcome to All In, folks. Let me tell you something. Chances are you're in business, or you certainly work for a business. And if not, maybe you're one of the fortunate ones that used to work for a business and was able to retire. But if you're still in business, whether it's for yourself or someone else, from time to time, you're going to need a little motivation. If sales is a big thing, you're going to need some training, because you might think you know it all, but you don't. You might think your staff knows it all. They don't. But it's nice to know that there's people out there who do, like this guy. Our next guest here on All In, Mr. John Guhn. He's an author, a speaker, and so much more. John, thank you so much for coming in with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Was it right? People from time to time need some motivation?
We always do.
It
doesn't matter who you are or where you're at or what you're in. There's always need for motivation.
So how long have you been motivating people, and what was your motivation to get into this?
Well, something happened to me when I was 16 years old that put in place steps that led to what I'm doing now. My mother was divorced twice, 5 kids. And my dad, back then, you didn't have to pay a lot of child support. He paid $100 a month child support for me and my 2 sisters, my stepdad, who was a great dad. But he never paid any child support. So things were tight. And when I was 16 years old, I walked to the front door. Somebody had rang the doorbell, and they weren't there. And there was a box of food sitting on the in front of the door. And that was the first time I realized that we were poor. And I swore from that point forward that I was going to do whatever I needed to do to make sure my kids were never hungry, and to help anybody that was having any kind of problems with whatever was going on in their life. And that, over the course of time, worked its way into helping people stay motivated. In my mid-20s, I attended a motivational seminar that had a huge effect on my life. And I'd give anything to remember who the person was, because 2 things that he said completely changed the direction that I was going. One was, be careful of the people that you spend the most time with. And the other was, write goals down.
Write goals down.
Yeah. And that was kind of the catalyst that worked its way into me figuring out what I wanted to accomplish in life in increments of 90 days. And I started writing out goals, and before I realized it, I started accomplishing different things that I probably would have never accomplished, because you're going through your normal things that you do every day. You know, you get up in the morning and you're going to work, and you get through with work, you come home, having dinner, watch a little TV, spend time with the kids, and then you start the process all over again. And before you know it, you're 10 years, 20 years, 30 years older, and the things that you dreamt about doing never really got started. So I put things in place that helped me get those things started, and eventually it worked its way into the book.
The book. Well, let's jump into the book. We always like having authors on here. I'm going to hold this up here for Dave. Why don't you tell us the name of the book and a little bit about it?
Goal Focused, No Limits. It started off with a different title. I attended my 50th high school reunion the beginning of this summer. And about 1 out of every 4 people that I talked to, and I only talked maybe 5 or 10 minutes with everybody. I think I probably talked to 45, 50 different people at the reunion. But about 1 out of every 4, I got the feeling that they were just going through the motions. They weren't smiling. There wasn't, talking about the different things ahead of them and the things they want to accomplish and that sort of thing. And the original title of the book was going to be, I'm 60, Now What?
I like that title too, though. I can relate to that title.
But with the things that I've been doing with my life since I was in my 20s and setting goals, it didn't fit. And I realized that everything that I was going to put in the book would benefit anyone at any age.
Yeah.
And eventually it worked its way into Goal Focused, No Limits.
Well, and again, it doesn't matter what your age is. We all need to set goals. Some of us have a hard time doing that, but you can help people come up with a goal. Everybody knows what the goal should be, but putting it to paper makes it a real thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I tell you, when I sit in front of groups, and I've done this in front of hundreds of people, I'll ask, how many of you have set goals in your life? And almost everyone in the room will raise their hand. And then I'll ask, how many of you have written it down and you actually have your goals with you?
Yeah.
And everybody's hand dropped down.
Absolutely.
And at that point, I realized that what most of people are really doing is they're just daydreaming about what they want to accomplish. They really have not put anything in place to help hit the goals that they say they want to hit.
Well, and that applies not just with goals in general, but specifically, I know you do sales training. And so it could be sales goals.
Correct.
You have personal goals, sales goals. Yeah, give me some examples of how you've assisted people with the sales training process.
Well, I use them myself. I write goals out every 90 days, and half the goals are tied to the business, and half the goals are tied to personal.
Nice. Okay.
And they're always with me. Doesn't matter how. I know this might look like a setup, but it's not.
No, it's not.
My goals.
Oh, you write on a $100 bill. That's
No.
smart. Oh, okay.
These are fourth quarter 2019.
That's nice. Okay.
And it's also on my wallet. It's in my office on the computer. It's at home on the computer.
So it's there with you at all times.
It's constantly reminding me, what did I say I wanted to accomplish in the next 90 days? And as long as I keep it in front of me, it encourages me to make sure and get it done before the 90 days is up.
But do people have a tendency, if they, for whatever reason, they don't knock one off the list, or they beat themselves up, or how can we handle that? Because that's a tricky part.
Well, here's the thing. At 90 days, now some goals may be long-term, but they're written at 90 days. Like maybe you want to accomplish a certain income at the end of the year, but at 90 days, you sit down and say, hey, I've got to accomplish this at 90 days, this again at 90 days. For me, I'll have 5 to 6 or 7 goals set up every 90 days.
Okay.
And when I get to the end of 90 days, I look at it and say, okay, which ones did I hit? Great. I'll mark them off. Which ones did I not hit? Are they still important enough to focus for the next 90 days? If they are, they stay for the next 90 days. If they're not, they're gone. And then I add 2 or 3 more to replace whatever got hit or whatever didn't become that important. In fact, writing a book was a goal that I wrote down about 25, 30 years ago, and it was important the 3 months I had it written, and I managed to write out 3 chapters. And at the end of the quarter, I was so busy in other things, I parked it, and it didn't resurface again until the June 1st. And it was actually written up as a goal that I wanted to accomplish in a 4-month period of time. I actually got the book written in 2 months.
Good for you. Well, you've been writing it in one way or another for a long time, but finally you hit that goal. That had to be a big day to be able to do that.
It was exciting to get it done. The first rough draft out in 60 days, and writing the book was easy. It was all the other stuff that comes afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That became the workload. But yeah, anyone can benefit from focused goals. Everybody has a daydream, something that they've thought over the years that they want to do, but never put anything in place to get it done. And before you know it, you're 60, 70, 80 years old.
Didn't do it.
Life has passed you by, and you start thinking, gosh, I wish I'd done this, or I wish I'd done that. And this helps you do that. In fact, people talk about bucket lists. Mm-hmm. My wife and I wrote out things for our bucket list early on, and there's nothing left on our bucket list. It's all done long before retirement.
So now you can focus on helping other people reach their bucket list.
Correct.
Through their goals, through this entire process, this whole goal-focused book, and the speaking and everything else that you do.
Right.
I know you like to do a lot of charity work as well. I've only got about 30 seconds left, but why is it you find it in your heart that you need to work with charities? And
Because
again,
of what happened with
when
me
you were 16.
When I was 16,
and you remember that all these years.
Oh, it's been a tremendous focus, and it has pushed me into helping a lot of different ways and a lot of different organizations and charities.
John Guhn, everybody, the person that we all wish we were, but we still have a chance to be if we just work at it just 90 days at a time, hitting those goals. Thank you, John. Appreciate you coming all in with us. Thanks for all you do for everybody.
Thank you.
Folks, thank you as well. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.